Hello, my lovely people. So here we are for another training in the playground. So you can use the trainings in here to deepen your understanding and your embodiment of all of the information that's given in your playbook and more. Yeah, like there's always layers and layers that you can go deeper into with your own personal experiment. You know this. I've been on mine for around 6 to 7 years now at the time of recording this. And there's still parts and pieces that I'm like, whoa, I can deepen into my resonance with them. I mean, that's the entire point of this, is to activate you and your unique frequency. Because when you are operating, when you are living as you, and you are projecting out into the world your unique frequency, you in your fullest expression, that is when you are providing your contribution to humanity. It doesn't matter what you do, it's who you are that creates the relevancy. You want to feel relevant in this world? Be you. Full stop. All of that inspiration you seek, all of that creativity, all of that, like, what am I here to do? You and your purpose comes through you, emerges through you when you are living as you. And that's what your playbook is. It's got all of the clues, all of the reminders, the deep remembrance into you is in that book. It's information. You've got to extract it and you've got to work with it. You've got to make the tweaks and the shifts and the changes. Use these trainings in the playground to help you with that. That's why this is why it's designed in this way for you. It's a self-education tool for you. You want to play deeper? You want to go hand in hand? Reach out. I've got many other offers. They're available. Okay, so by now, depending on how many training videos you've watched, you know I'm Sue. I am the founder of Alma Rose. That is my brand. My entire brand is all around soul secrets. That's what it stands for. It's really unearthing, remembering you and the secrets that live within you, your wisdom. So we can bring this into the world. We can anchor you, ground you here into this physical world. And then through your physical body, you get to impart your soul secrets, your wisdom, and contribute that to the evolution and the expansion of humanity. That is the game that we are playing here and now. You want to play it, stay in my world. You don't want to play, that's cool too. You can go and do you in whatever context that feels like for you. I'm also the creator of the playbooks. And so if you're here, that is why. It's because you have received your playbook and you want to play. You want to play. And I want you to play. Like, this is my desire. I want you to take all of that information in the book and I want you to learn more. I want you to deepen into you. I am a teacher of consciousness. I am here to guide you home. This is what is within my design. Yeah, it's not just like me thinking this is something I want to do. This is me going on my own journey and receiving that clarity from within me, not from somebody telling me, not from a reading, but from within me. That feeling of like, yes, yes, this is me. So I know I'm here to activate your gifts, your strengths, your talents, to illuminate you and your truth. It's what friggin' lights me up. It's what I'm good at. It's what's been my biggest personal journey so far. And so when I reflect back and look at all of my pieces, my experience, my inner knowing, my charts, it makes me go, oh, but of course, it seems so obvious. But that's always the case, isn't it? We're looking for something more complex, more complicated, less obvious. And so sometimes we need a little bit of help. We need a little bit of guidance. And that's what I am here for. So if you're here, I know that you're curious, I know that you're open, and I always welcome you into my space. So what we're going to have a look at today is something called connection charts. So this is something outside of your playbook information that I offer. So I offer a reading into a specific connection chart. And what that means, you and one other person, where we blend your charts and we have a look at your connection. So I'm just going to share a little bit about this today. So if you haven't seen the training that I did, which talked about the transits, I spoke about it very briefly within that training, because in our daily transits, that's what happens. There is you and your chart. There is the chart that is happening in every single moment of every single day. Yeah, so when they're passing through the 64 gates, when the planets are passing through those, we are creating charts. That's why, a person that is born at this very moment in time, their chart is going to have the same chart as like that moment in time, if that makes sense. And so this is why, again, Alma Rose, Soul Secrets, Together is Better. These are all the things that you hear me talk about. Why, when we understand this, when we learn this, we can co-create with it. My belief is we're actually here to co-create with life itself. Yeah, like life itself, the energetic frequency of life itself in each and every moment in time, which is what the transits are. So what happens then is there's you and your chart, there's the chart of the daily transit. We blend them together and we see how you guys connect. We see how you work together. And you don't really want to be doing that like every single day. I mean, you can if you want to, but it might take out like a large section of your day. But you do want to gain an awareness to what the transits are, so you can have that awareness and to see how it may be impacting and influencing you and your energy in every single moment in time. So that's what a connection chart is. You can also do it for people. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about today. And I'm going to give you just I'll show you mine and my husband's, okay, and our connection chart and how that works, so you get an understanding. And then if you're listening and you're like, oh my God, I would love to have one with my partner or my children or with a particular client, or, with my mother, with my father, with anybody in the world, even with myself if you want, then you can reach out and I can then offer you a connection chart reading. So we can do that. That would be separate. Okay. So what we're working with here is learning the compatibility between two energetic frequencies, you and another. And we're learning the energetic exchange that happens between two energetic frequencies, you and another, and how you complement each other, how those energetic frequencies complement each other between you and another, and also what might come up between those two frequencies, yeah, between you and another. So we're taking your unique energetic frequency, i.e. your human design chart, and we're blending it with another, and then we're looking at that as a whole. So as I said before, so let me share my screen with you. As I said in the training with the about the transits, when we are looking at a human design chart, like so this is my human design chart, it's actually made up of two separate charts, because what the work is, if you will, is to actually break that illusion of separation. Okay, so if I bring it up, I'll show you in this way. So when we're looking at an individual's chart, so we're just taking one person. This one person is me. And then we take the personality chart, which looks like this, and we take the design chart, which looks like this. And when we blend it together, we get the quantum chart. So whenever you go online and you bring up your human design chart, you are always looking at your quantum chart, which is a blend of your personality and your design, with the intention to dismantle that illusion of separation. Your personality and your design, the separate parts of you, we blend them together so we can feel that wholeness. And that's why we work with the quantum design and not just the personality or just the design. We want to work with you as a whole, holistic being. Okay, so a great one to look at with that is the profiles. Can't remember the name off the top of my head. I think it's like something like your personal polarity or your personal paradox, but I know it's in profile. So go into the human design part. You can, that will talk about that a little bit more for you, so you can get an understanding. So with every design, even you as an individual, we are creating a connection chart. Connection in this case between your personality and you to create your quantum chart. You can also do this between you and another. So we take your quantum chart, the quantum chart of another, we blend them together to create a connection chart. And this is what it looks like. So this is between myself and my husband. So you can see this is my husband. You see all of his information there. And this is between me. You see all of my information there. Okay. And so it's his chart and my chart blended together. And you can see here, it creates our quantum chart, our connection chart. So we can look at our frequencies when they're put together as the holistic whole. Okay, and then we can start to really, again, we're always zooming in on the charts so we can then zoom out. So we zoom in and we look at specific parts of the chart where you complement each other, and also where maybe a conflict, I don't know what the word is. I want to say issue, so I'm going to use the word issue because that's what's coming through, where an issue may come up in your interaction with each other, okay? So we can shine a light on it. And that which complements, we can bring out and make that more. And that which creates an issue, we can zoom in and we can shift that perspective that may be playing out within the relationship, so we can lessen that friction that may happen between you guys. So we start by zooming out, we look at the whole, we zoom in, so we can do a little bit of a cleanup, we can highlight some things, and then we zoom out again. Okay, so essentially that's what we would do in a connection reading. I don't want to call it a reading. I don't like reading. It's like I'm not just reading the charts, I'm making the chart alive for you. So we just call it a connection call. Let's call it that. Okay, so we can bring that out. So what we're always looking at, and again, this could be in a relationship, yeah, like a romantic relationship. It could be with you and your child or your children. It could even be with you and a client. It could be with you and anybody. It doesn't matter. It's really where you want to deepen that intimate relationship with somebody, where you want to gain a wider, a bigger picture perspective of what is playing out between you and your energetic dynamics. That's what we're playing with. It's like, oh, how can I use this information to help me see what's playing out? Okay, and it's beautiful. Like, I've done it for me and my husband. I've done it for me and my Luna. I've done it for us as a family. But when we do the connection calls, it would just be with you and one other. We're not going to play outside of just the dynamics between you and one other frequency, one other person. Okay, so what we're always looking at. So let's go back to my chart here. So I'll just give you a very brief part on here. There's another training that will dive into this a little more, but essentially opposites attract. Okay, we are always emitting an electromagnetic frequency. The clue is in the word magnetic. Magnets, yeah, opposing forces. That is our point of attraction. So we are always selling through our open centers, and there's a little more nuance within that, which another training goes into. So we're not going to dive into that here. But where I want you to have an understanding of this is that your point of attraction, and again, this is very general. When we zoom into the charts, it becomes a little more nuanced. So if you look at you and your partner's chart, or you and your children's chart, or you and somebody else's chart, and you're like, that doesn't work out, that's okay. We're talking general with this. But the law of attraction, opposing forces. So where you are open, let me bring up, I don't know, I'll bring up this one. Where you are open in your centers, you may be the point of attraction for somebody that is defined in that center. Where you are open with a channel, so where you have a hanging gate. So if we look here, my 44, which is, you're all going to laugh at this in a short moment because you'll see why I'm using this as the example, is my sun. I don't have 26. I have a hanging gate. I don't have a complete channel. So my point of attraction with 44 is I will probably be attracted to somebody that has 26 in their chart. And somebody that has 26 in their chart is probably going to be attracted to somebody that has 44 in their chart. Because together, especially when you're in your true self in these activations, you complete a channel. And this is why we truly are moving into the era of our evolution, where we're really learning that together is better. We're really learning it actually playing together and trusting and asking for support with another actually will elevate us even more. And that is why in our point of evolution thus far, the journey we have had to go on has been through mental intelligence, mindset, into emotional intelligence, your emotions and nervous system regulation. And now we're moving into spiritual intelligence, your truth. And the way that we really get to consistently live in the world, be among others, and remain in our truth is because we are emotionally intelligent beings and with, the right mindset. When you reflect back on, in your lifetime, in my lifetime, in recent years, let's say, of the evolution of humanity, of what has been available to the collective consciousness, there, again, we're going generally, there are always, exceptions to this, but collectively, the journey that we went on, like, let's say, like 20, 30, 40 years ago, mindset. The secret, law of attraction, Mindset, thoughts become things, thoughts become things. Everyone went, okay, we're starting to understand that actually our thoughts, our mindset, our intelligence in that capacity is influencing our world, is influencing our experience. We got that on a collective level. Yes, of course, there's still, other people that need to learn. But if you now speak to somebody about mindset, about manifestation, about the secret, about law of attraction, about thoughts become things, whether that person is really dived into it or not, they have an awareness that it exists. That's what was brought into the collective consciousness. Okay. But if you rewind that 40, 50 years and you bring in those words, those concepts, people would look at you like that. Like, I don't even understand what that means. I don't know what that means. We were not at that point of evolution for it. And so then we maneuvered, and this is the space that we have been in the last few years, of where now it's really seeping into the collective consciousness, which is beautiful, of emotional intelligence. Again, rewind 40, 50 years, emotional intelligence, what the frig is that? Now we're starting to see a lot of people bring awareness into their own emotional intelligence, into nervous system regulation. There's a lot more people speaking on this now because they have gone on their journey and they are now here to teach this to the collective. So as the collective, as the majority of humanity, we are now really in that awareness that our nervous system regulation, our emotional intelligence creates an impact. It's what influences our experience of life. So we've gone on that journey and we are now at a point where we are really activating as a collective our spiritual intelligence, our truth. And what that means is that we can start to really engage in the world with other people, no matter their differences, okay, and be emotionally intelligent and have a beneficial mindset with it. We're not going to collapse on ourselves. And that is what was required. So we can now be at this point in our evolution with the collective, with humanity. So we can now start really playing together. Together is better, together is better, together is better. And this is where we can now look at our energetic frequency and how it connects with another and how we play together. Because as I say, your electromagnetic frequency is going to attract the opposite. And so if you are not in your true self, what will happen is you're going to attract that opposite. And especially if you're attracting from your open centers, which is where the potential wisdom is. And then what's going to happen is you're both going to be in your shadow. There's going to be a lot of friction, a lot of conflict, and you're going to be sitting there going, well, Sue was talking a load of shit because I can't be with this person because they don't actually contribute to my elevation, to my inspiration, to my energy, because you're actually in your not self. So the whole work thus far up to this point is to really, it really has been about you as an individual. And I've said this for many, many years now. It was always about like together. Again, it's that whole thing. You zoom out, you zoom in, you zoom out. So it was about everybody as a whole and almost like, excuse my French, what the fuck is going on? And then we zoomed in on ourselves and it really became about who am I? And now we're receiving answers to that from a very embodied state. We can zoom out and make it more about all of us. Serving humanity as a whole in this together. My whole thing, if you've been following me for a while, you know my whole motivation, my whole desire, if you will, my movement is I want everybody to be able to sit at the same table together in their uniqueness, to bring their differences to the table and everybody to celebrate them and to see how it fits into that bigger picture. I want us specifically, this is my real what gets me going, is to raise our children in their unique differences. I want our children to not have to be brought up the way that most of us were, where in order to feel accepted, we have to conform to the norms, the societal norms. And in place for them to be accepted, they get to be their unique, brilliant, probably a little bit out there self, because that's what I want in the world. That's what I want in a way. Like I'm myself. Like, and again, I'll bring this in, and we will go back to this little training, I promise you. But I'm like, I laugh at myself, and again, it wasn't always this way. Like, I always base me and my truest expression on who I am in the world, not necessarily in the online space. Yeah, it's who I am moment by moment, day to day. And like, I am zany. Like, I'm not a little, I'm a lot out there. When I go and pick Luna up, when I'm there on the playground, it's like I'm me. And people see me, they experience me. And then it's up to them to choose if they feel they need to protect themselves from me, to reject me, or to accept me. It doesn't bother me either way. Like, I'm me, and like like I laugh because it's very unaccepted in accordance with societal norms, and it's taken a lot of work, mindset, emotional intelligence to fully accept this space, to fully accept me in my wholeness. Okay, so I've gone off right on a tangent with that. In fact, I'm consider I might just make this available because I feel like that's really beneficial to the collective. But I do want to give you a little bit about the connections. So again, that's what I'm saying. It's our point of evolution where like we get to be together in a way where we support, uplift, inspire, and motivate each other. It's not conflict, it's not competition anymore. When you are unique, when you really accept that about you and you learn that part about you and you really are operating on you and your frequency, you know there is no competition. There is none. And so you never see anybody else in that capacity. I mean, look at me. I teach, or part of what I teach is human design. How many other human design coaches, mentors, like leaders, inspirational people are there out there? There are gazillions. You can go to YouTube, you can just go to the internet. If I looked at all of those people, if my focus was on those people, I wouldn't speak shit. I would be like, like a little deer in headlights, frozen. So I don't listen to them. I don't follow them. I have my teachings, my trainings are from Ra himself through the International Human Design School. Ra himself. And there was a lady called Paige Michelle whom introduced me to all of this. And I adore her and I love how she speaks with human design. And I have, if I'm honest, every now and then opened my ears to other human design Gene Keys teachers when I've been in my not self. When I've been like, oh, let's see what's going on. I'm curious. Let's get that validation that I'm good at what I do. Let's go and see. And when I've done that, it certainly has not served me. So I'm learning to be very disciplined, and I just speak through myself. And that's what I desire for you. There is no competition because there is only one of you. So always bring your focus back to you and your truest expression, your truest self. Okay. So when we're looking at connection charts, again, this is where we've moved to. So now we can really live in the world together. I've said to my clients for so many years, it is easy. And I will say this. I'm going to put this one out there. It is easy to remain in your truest self when you do not have to engage or interact with other humans, with life. When you are up there, you're sitting on top of a mountain, and you're out there and you're really claiming space for yourself, it is easier to remain in your truest self. You can go, I know who I am. This is beautiful. I like this. I'm going to stay here. That's why meditation is supremely popular. It gives us a space in the day where we can remove ourselves and go into ourselves to remember who we are. But I don't know about you. I don't want to spend 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a day in meditation. I want to live life. I want to embrace life. I want to enjoy life. And that means other people. Not always people that have the same perception of life as you, the same state of consciousness as you. And that doesn't mean good or bad or better or worse. It just means different. Just different. That's it. And when you can lean into that and go, okay, they're different. That's cool. How can you still be in and among them without that, real forward energy, that real need? I need to change them. You don't need to change anyone. That is not your job. You just need to be you to inspire, motivate, and influence others through who you are being. Let that be enough. You don't need to change anyone. You need to change them is because you need them to change so you can feel different. You're giving your power to them. Don't do that. And so, yeah, if you want to go and live a life on a mountaintop, then maybe this is not for you. But I don't. I want to fully engage with life. I want to be out there. I want to be out there. I want to be on the playground. I want to be out there. I want to be at the park. I want to be out there. I want to be traveling the world. I want to be out there in and among people, 7 billion people. And I want to be able to be in and among with anyone. And I can still be my truest self. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. That's my desire. Together is better. Together is better. Together is better. And so when we can learn our energetic exchange with others and we create this acute awareness to what goes on, we really do reclaim a lot of our power. So this is the connection chart between my husband and myself, which we looked at a long time ago. Now, this has really gone off on a tangent, this training, but we're going to roll with it. So what we look at here is we're looking at the electromagnetic channels. So I'm going to make this a little bigger. And if you remember what I said about opposites attract. So when we're looking at my chart, we see in my sun 44, but I don't have 26 here. So the chances are I was always going to attract somebody that had that gate. And oh, look who has that. My husband. So he has gate 26. So again, opposites attract. So I desired, there was something in my field to attract somebody that has this gate activated. So this channel is complete. And it just so happens, because there's always a lot of nuance in all of this. It's not just like, this is this. It's like, this is this, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this. This is why we we look at it as a whole, and then we zoom into specific places, but then we've got to zoom out again to see how it fits as the whole. We never just look at one part of the chart and leave it be. We need to see how it fits as the whole. So this at 44 is my sun personality. 26 is my husband's sun personality. So it's in the same planetary placements, the sun, the life story. Yeah, like my theme, my essence, his theme, his essence. It's just like, whoa. And when we met, so we met, I don't know, 14, 15 years ago. I didn't know this. Oh, this wasn't taken into consideration. It's only since I've learned this, after we were then together for what, like 10 years, that I went, whoa, holy shit, look at this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay. How here, again, the real nuance, when we're in our true self, we really complement each other in the context of our sun, our essence, our life story. We complement each other when we're in our true self. There is the opposite of that. If we're in our not self, if we're operating through the shadow, it will create a lot more friction and potentially, and again, I don't like to say it in these terms, but it is what it is, like pull each other down into that shadow if we're not really like affirming who we are in our strength, in the foundation of us, and allowing the other person's energy to influence us through their not self. So this is where we want to, I speak as well about, it's not protection, it's rejection. We've spent way too long protecting our energy, therefore not allowing anything in, but now we want to learn to reject it. No, that doesn't feel good. It's not correct. No, not for me. Okay. So yeah, like the electromagnetic channels that we're looking for is where the opposites attract. So the open center, the open centers, and the open gates are actually where our wisdom lives. So this might sound a little bizarre. And again, there's another training that will go into this a little bit more, because I do want to try and keep this with the connection channels. And I know this has gone on much longer than what I was anticipating. But what is actually going on is my open 26, when I'm in my not self, is attracting my husband's 44. Actually, that's not a great example because he has that. So let's go up here to 64 and the 47. So my openness in 47 is attracting because it's got a lot of wisdom. I'm getting confused because I'm looking at this chart. One sec. Okay, yeah. So it is attracting it's got a lot of wisdom or potential wisdom. Sorry, let me go across. Where are we looking at? Yeah, okay. I'm getting my husband and myself confused. So my husband has the open 64. Okay. So he's got a lot of wisdom in that, because where it's open, you have potential for infinite wisdom. It's limitless. But again, if you're in your true self, like it's open. There's no definition. There's no like limitation, like fixed way of being. And so my husband's openness in that 64 actually attracts my openness in 47. And then my definition in 64 and my husband's openness in 64, when he's in his true self, really helps my defined 64 to be in its, hers, theirs, whatever you want to call it, true self. Because again, I'm going to be quite fixed. So his openness provides the tweak, the shift, and the change that I need to align myself even more with my 64, and then vice versa with our 47s. And because we're opposites with those, we then complete that channel. And we complement each other when we're in our true self. I hope that makes sense. It's one of those things, and again, like the more you dive into it, and again, it's going to depend on where you are with your journey, but yeah, it'll either make sense or it'll make you go like, yeah, I'm not quite getting it, which is also fabulous. Stick with it. Tell yourself, I am ready to get this, and it will. Yeah, the more you dive into the teachings, it's going to start to unravel, unfold, and then you'll be looking at these charts and going, I get it. Like, I get it. So we need to bear that in mind when we're looking at connection charts. There's also a theme that happens in connection charts. So you can see my husband and I is number 9, which is nowhere to go. Because when you put our charts together, if you have a look, every center is defined. We're not open anywhere, which means like we feel very complete together. We're not really open for anything else. And how this can manifest in the relationship itself is in the beginning, and this was absolutely our pattern and continues to be our pattern. Where in the beginning, it's like, well, we're good together. Like, we don't need anyone else. Like, we're okay. Like, we're complete. Like, we're complete together. We don't need anyone else. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, we can live with that. We can work with that. But then in the later years, and this is absolutely our experience and a journey that we have been on, for want of a better word, it can get a little boring because it's like, okay, like we desire a little more. It's almost like, it's exactly as it sounds. There's nowhere to go. There's no real growth within that relationship itself. So it feels very complete, and it feels very beautiful, and it feels very safe. It's like, we are very happy in closing that door and huddling together and just being in our own world. It can also create, if you have children, they might feel a little bit excluded. And my husband and I have experienced that with Luna, because when we come together, Luna feels very unsettled. She wants to separate us. Because again, together, my husband and I are complete. It's like we don't need anyone else. But we have to learn that, because we also have a desire that we want to grow. We want to engage in the world. We want more. And so we have to look outside of our relationship for that. So there's that piece, your connection theme. And you can see there's all of these channels, all of these parts and pieces that when you bring into charts and you create this connection chart, you can really start to see again how you complement each other, and how there may be some friction with each other, and essentially how you can live and work and be together that really supports you both. Like, that's what I'm here for. How can we be together in a way that really supports us and our differences? And so this is an awfully long way of me saying that's why I'm offering connection chart calls. I don't want to call them readings, connection chart calls. So it will be you, one other person that you choose, whoever that may be. And we're going to have a look. We're going to have a look. We're going to look, bring them together, look at the holistic view. Then we're going to zoom in to the parts and the pieces. We're going to speak together. You're going to see where the friction is maybe playing out in the patterns that don't serve you in your relationship. We're going to look at the parts and pieces that are really going to complement your relationship. We're going to look at the tweaks, the shifts, and the changes that can be made so you can complement each other even more. We're going to look at the overall theme of your relationship and how that's playing out. We're going to look at, where your openness together remains, if there is any. We're going to look at where you have hanging gates that then complement each other to complete the channels. We're going to look at the specific pieces, and then we're going to zoom out again and look at you guys as a holistic whole with that understanding, with that awareness. So I don't know how long this has gone, but I know it's gone on for much longer. And this is within the playground as part of the trainings, but I'm going to offer it outside as well. So whoever you are and wherever you are in the world watching this, I hope that it was useful for you. I hope that it was really beneficial for you. If you're watching this outside of the playground and you have not received your playbook, I highly recommend you get one for you. You can even get one for your partner as well. Learn them. I do them as gifts for people. I've done it for my husband. I've created it for Luna. I've got Luna's friends at schools, parents that want to create for her classmates so they can, as a parent, understand their child's energetic frequency so they can encourage them to live from that and not the condition in the program in the societal norms. So if you haven't received your playbook, I do recommend you get one. I'll put it in the YouTube notes, the link how you can get one. If you're interested in a connection call, again, I'll put a link into the notes, into the YouTube notes, so you can book one of those as well. And that's it. And if there's anything else that you desire, if you have any questions, comments, etc., you are always very welcome to reach out for me. So having said all of this, I thank you very much for your time in watching this and look forward to speaking, seeing, feeling you all very soon. Much love.